All right, so today is Saturday, August 8th, and here's what I got done this week. I'll try to make it quick. The amount of individual tasks that I got done is, well, anyway. So as you can see, I got the windshield trimmed up and taped into place. Of course, it's not actually bonded. I'm not gonna bond it until I get the, I gotta pull the panel and the dash out one more time, get a couple last little connections made back there, and then mount them in permanently. But yeah, I got the windshield trimmed. It was really time consuming. What I did, and I would really recommend doing this kind of process for anybody who's doing this, is first I trimmed off as little as possible from the back edge here and got it to sit in there and then have everything hang over the front and just kind of see how it orients itself, how it fits. And then I did exactly the same with the front. And I trimmed it with the front and had it overhang the back and see how it fit and oriented with itself. Because as you can see, it's a changing curve here, and I didn't want to end up trimming too much off the front and messing up the mating between this. And I didn't want to trim too much off the back because, as you can see, it comes basically this shape, but just long in every direction. And I didn't want to trim too much off the back because if you shift it this much, it won't be long enough this way to get down to the they call it a joggle there. So I ended up, trimming a little bit off the back, trimming a little bit off the front, just so slowly until it fit exactly. And so I'm really happy with the way it came out. It's all done. It's all done with the trimming, and it's ready to install. Another trick that I learned kind of from another builder is I got these little lever action, whatever they're called, suction cups from Harbor Freight. One of the very few times I'll use a Harbor Freight thing because it's, disposable, one-time use. This is how I've been fitting it. So I bungee cord it so that it holds the window on. They've got soft tips and everything, so it's not digging into anything. And because the window wants to sit, like this, and so to get it to close itself and bend to fit the contour of the plane, it's really hard to do one with one person. And if you can't get it to sit contoured properly, then it's really hard to know exactly where it needs to get trimmed. So this was super helpful for me, just getting it trimmed up perfectly and making sure everything fits. And then you're able to hold it in place, and then from the inside trace it with a Sharpie so that you can mark out where it needs to be masked off from the inside there for when you bond it. So yeah, I'm not gonna actually bond the window on like this. I might use them, but I would worry that they'll pop off after sitting for 24 hours and I won't trust it. So next thing I gotta do is test fit it, with some blocks kind of here and here, and then use some sort of wrap around the plane so that the pressure points are actually on the bonding areas, but then you have something wrapped around the plane so that it has pressure and it doesn't rely on anything to hold it on there. So yeah, another thing I got done, and this was a pretty fun process and it feels good, is I got the carpet on the top of the baggage compartment all the way around, and it was, it takes a little time to get it nice. Part of the problem that happened to me is they sent me the parachute version of these carpets. So the one that fits over here ends like this, and there's not enough for over there. And this bottom carpet here is cut out for a parachute box. So that's no good. They're sending me some replacement carpet. They say they've got their production issues kind of resolved for now. And so I think it's set to go out on air freight and be here next week. So that'd be awesome. And I really hope that it keeps going that way. But then once I glue in that back piece, the floor is actually just Velcroed in, so it's not important that it can go in any time. But once I glue in the back piece there, then it's no problem to bond in those rear windows. And these door windows I can bond in anytime because the doors actually have to come off anyway to paint. So yeah, I also got this is the left wing. The landing light rib that's right here and underneath there was warped. It was the wrong part, and so it caused it to really like bend. I've shown it in previous videos. So I got the right one sent to me from the air freight a couple weeks ago, or a week or two, whatever it was. So I had to drill out all the rivets on the leading edge skin, you know, between the fuel tank and here, just on the top, and I bend it back, remove the rib, install the new rib. Luckily at this point of the build, removing rivets is nothing. It's really not that big of a deal. All you do is you just drill out just the head pops off, the whole skin pops off, and you pull the rivet out from the backside. You don't do any damage to the holes, you don't enlarge them at all. And so it's really not a big deal when you got the technique down. So I also installed the fuel tank, well, cleat coated in. I did another pressure check on it and it was good. So it's all good. All I gotta do is shoot those rivets now. And same thing with the wingtip rivets, and this wing is ready for paint. Then it's just putting the fuel tank on this other one, and likewise for the right wing. I started trimming. I did the first trim of my cowling, and unfortunately I learned that that's going to be a two-person job. I trimmed it, leaving just a slight bit extra on it, so that you don't want to go too far, obviously. And then when I'm trying to make the adjustments on it, if I make the adjustment on this side, it moves that side, and then you walk over there, make the adjustment there, and this side pops back out. So kind of a pain in the butt. I've got to get a second person in here to help with that. Should just be a couple hours, so get that done next week, hopefully. This mirror and MDF is going to be part of a really fun upcoming customization thing for this plane. It's going to be something really unique that I'm really excited about, so won't get into that too much. And one of the last things I did this week was, when I had that wing over here on the table, I was playing with the landing light lens, and as you could see, I made a mistake. That's not good. So what happened was this, so there's two lenses here and here. I made sure, you're dealing with the right wing, or the left wing in this case, but the correct lens. And it was this one. It fits on, the other one does not. But when it was sent to me, it was bent. You could see one side's longer than the other. It was bent so that this side was shorter than this side. So it fits in, all the holes line up, but you have to really like force it in there. And so of course, when I was forcing it, I cracked it. That being said, if you're careful, you can actually, I had it all clecoed in. I was just forcing it afterwards to see if I could bend. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, so after that, this one was already trashed. So I clecoed it all back in, and then I just hit it with the heat gun, and it relaxed into this shape. And so you can easily reshape it. You see a little bit of a wave there, but it's not anything. You could easily reshape it by hitting it with a heat gun and getting it to relax in the correct position, and it's no big deal. I just kind of got ahead of myself and accidentally cracked it. So I got some sheets of acrylic here. What I'll do is heat it up evenly, probably with a heat lamp rather than a heat gun, and then I'll just set it over this. I'll use this as a template, and then match drill it, and I think that I'll be able to get this replicated no problem. So something to make note of here is it says polypropylene landing light. This is not polypropylene. First of all, I don't know of any polypropylene that's clear. I think they might have meant polycarbonate, and even still, that's not what this is. This is acrylic. So, I mean, that matters when you're when you're messing with it and when you're trying to replace it. But first of all, plexiglass, that's a name brand for acrylic. You can see extruded AC, this is acrylic. It's not polypropylene, it's not polycarbonate, that's acrylic. So anyway, hopefully you guys don't have the improperly bent landing light lenses, but I did. And the last thing I've been meaning to mention for several weeks now is you could see these little voids. These are little holes, and they kind of look like this at first, and then when you dig into it with your fingernail, there's actually a hole underneath there. And so there's a lot of them all over on this front top skin. Hole, hole, filled hole, hole. And so take a close look at your front top skin, because, oh, here's one. See that little bubble right there? So if you push on it, whatever, maybe that one's not it, but that's what they look like. They look like just these tiny little raised bubbles, and if you just barely push on it, it falls through because there's nothing there except for just a tiny layer. So you don't want to accidentally paint over that and then have just the tiniest bit of pressure knock a hole in your nice paint job. So make sure to take a look at that in your composite parts, because yeah, like I said, you don't want to end up with a finished plane that gets these little holes in it afterwards. So all right, well, I think that's it for this week. I also got this little strip installed here. This thing was easy, just this kind of trim strip. This was easy, just find the center, tape it on, and start in the center and drill out one hole at a time and cleco them in from the top, not from the edge, because you don't want to end up getting off center, and you don't want to start from both edges and work your way in and have like a bow. So all right, that's it. Have a good weekend, everybody.